So now we're gonna learn how can we add new columns and create new columns, and also how can we use existing columns in order to add new columns. So when we're using a dplyr function, we can use a function called mutate function. So this function allows us to easily add new columns to our data, right? So let's look at the example of mutate function. So I'm gonna create this new car data and say, right, and I'm gonna say mutate, right? I'm gonna pass in this data. So what I want to do is I want to create this column that will say take the row names, that will take the row names of this data, right, of mtcars data, right? So that specifies the type of the car, right? And then I want to create a new column in this case, and say we want to use the information that is contained on HP and W2 column to create this new column. I'm going to call it power to weight ratio. So power to weight, I'm going to say this is simply just this column divided by this column, right? Right, if I try to run this new car data, and you will observe that we have created these new columns. So because these two new columns are not showing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom out, and then I'm going to rerun this new data, and you're gonna observe these two new created columns, which is type and power to weight ratio. We can also drop columns by assigning existing names to null. Okay, so let us say now what we want to do is we want to say we remove this column, right? So in order to do that, we are going to set that column to null. Okay, so we can say that column, set it to null. Okay, and that will remove that column. That also say this column, we set it to null. Let's just remove those two columns. Okay, and let us run this, and let us call new data. As you observed from new data, that new data has removed this column that we set to null, and this other column, which is qsec, and this other column. So it has removed it, so by setting that column to null.